big show, Matty Paz. I'm your host, Matty P himself. Tonight, we have a very special show for you guys on the history of obstetrical forceps. We also have a very talented musical performance at the end, so please hold tight. First, we'd like to welcome one of the most talented midwives of the 18th and 19th centuries. Everyone, Martha Ballard. Hello, Martha. Thank you for joining us today. So these forceps, I've heard a lot of controversy about them. I heard they're a new tool in childbirth. Can you tell us how they've affected your profession as a midwife?
It has not been easy for us midwives lately. With the invention of obstetrical forceps, our job is being taken away from us by male surgeons. Now, the only women entering our field are very poor, with literally no social status. We feel that it is a breach to our privacy to have men in the birthing room. So we have been leading protests lately to try to get back birthing as an only female profession. As of yet, our protests have been unsuccessful.
So why is it that midwives such as yourself haven't adopted the forceps technology?
Unfortunately, us women are not strong enough to operate the forceps, especially when doctors decide to intervene before full dilation. Also, the education necessary to operate the forceps is not available to us women.
With the introduction of the forceps, how do women feel, about pregnancy and childbirth?
Childbirth used to be the great equalizer. Every woman had to go through the same amount of pain to have a child. Now, with the invention of forceps and anesthetic drugs, childbirth has become much easier for wealthy women who can afford to have a tending physician speed up their childbirth.
It's truly a shame. Thank you for joining us today, though. It was truly a pleasure to have you on the show, and I hope you'll come back and join us another time.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Pellegrino. It was a pleasure to be here.
It was a pleasure. Guest tonight is a very famous physician, Dr. W.P. Manton. He is one of the most acclaimed obstetrical physicians in the country, and he'll be giving us his perspective on the use of forceps. So let me ask you, I understand there's a lot of controversy about the use of the forceps, and I understand that they're supposed to ease the process and all, but when exactly, from a professional's point of view, should the forceps be used?
Great question, Matt. One indicator that forceps need to be used is if the birth goes on for an extended period of time, usually over 2 hours. Other more specific instances are hemorrhaging, exhaustion of the mother, or other maternal illnesses. Also, with the introduction of chloroform and other recent anesthesias, forceps become necessary because with these drugs, the mother's ability to push the baby decreases.
Could you describe the components of the forceps?
Actually, Matt, I have a pair of forceps right here. Forceps consist of 4 main parts: the blade, the shank, the lock, and the handle. The blades of the forceps have 2 important features: the cephalic curve, which mimics that of the infant's skull, and the pelvic curve, mimicking the curve of the mother's pelvis. The shanks on a pair of forceps provide leverage, and the longer they are, the more leverage they provide. The lock is the rivet that connects the 2 shanks together. Finally, the handles serve the dual purpose of being used not only to control the tool and saving the life of a baby, but also to be able to dismember the baby if it died in the birthing process.
Alright, well, let's talk pros and cons here. Obviously, the forceps were designed to speed up the whole process and make it a lot easier, but there's got to be a downside. Could you explain the advantages and disadvantages of using forceps technology?
There are definitely pros and cons to using forceps. If used by a trained physician like myself, forceps can be very helpful in lessening the pain and duration of childbirth. They're the first step in mechanizing childbirth, and women generally feel more comfortable if the surgeon has these tools able to be used. However, if used by an untrained or inexperienced physician, forceps can cause laceration and maiming in both the mother and child if used too aggressively or too early in the childbirth process. Also, forceps have the potential to give the baby puerperal fever if used unsterilized.
Dr. Manton, it's great to have you on the show today.
Always a pleasure.
Thanks. Hope to see you again soon. Now, check out our musical performance by Lil Forceps.
1, 2, 3, forceps. Put the use of midwives to the test. Made women think surgeons knew best. Laid many birthing fears to rest. 1, 2, 3, forceps. Change obstetrics super fast. Not used as much as in the past, but still their impact is vast. Yeah, talking about forceps, the obstetric kind. The kind used in birth about I write my rhyme. Invented over 400 years ago. Want some pretext? Alright, here we go. Bring down the beat, you know you gotta whisper. Invented by a group of French brothers, no sister, of the Chamberlain family. Wanted to keep it a secret, blindfolded their patients so no one could see it. Kept it under wraps about 100 years, and finally in the public it appeared. Published in medical journals and quickly spread. Surgeons replaced midwives by the bed. 1, 2, 3 forceps, put the use of midwives to the test. Made women think surgeons knew best. Laid many birthing fears to rest. 1, 2, 3 forceps, change obstetrics super fast. Not used as much as in the past, but still their impact is vast. So now you have your background, I hope you're satisfied. Let's move on from the basics to the analytic side. The 19th century brought a Cartesian ideal of a mechanized body, yeah, that's for real. And with this idea brought new advancements, chloroform, anesthesia, and forceps enhancements. Midwives replaced by forceps-wielding surgeons. Social stratification began to burgeon. As more women moved to the operating room, midwifery would soon go face its doom. However, this technology was not without detractors. After the chorus, we'll talk about these factors. 1, 2, 3 forceps, put the use of midwives to the test. Made women think surgeons knew best. Laid many birthing fears to rest. 1, 2, 3 forceps, change obstetrics super fast. Not used as much as in the past, but still their impact is vast. While forceps brought many great advances, many doctors took opposing stances on whether they should be used or not, and if so, rarely or a lot. Many use forceps with too much aggression, causing disruption to a natural progression, or those without the proper training cause maternal harm and child maiming. Today most forceps births are gone, replaced by safer C-section, but their impact still exists. From hospital births to advanced obstetrics, yeah, they made midwives obsolete. Yeah, they revived male medical involvement. Yeah, they reversed natural birthing a bit, but their advances made up for it. 1, 2, 3 forceps, put the use of midwives to the test. Made women think surgeons knew best. Laid many birthing fears to rest. 1, 2, 3 forceps, change obstetrics super fast. Not used as much as in the past, but still their impact is vast.
That's it for tonight. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Join us next week as we interview Russell Crowe and John Tresh.